Welcome to episode 2 of our Big Brother, Big Sister training video series. In episode 1, we talked about trauma-informed care. Today, we'll explore critical mentoring. In today's video, we'll first look at the overall definition of critical mentoring and later explore critical mentoring specifically when it pertains to those from vulnerable groups. Critical mentoring is a deeper look into the person the mentor is supporting. This is especially important for those who come from suppressed communities or backgrounds. It's about what can be done by you, the mentor, to help and most importantly, understand the mentee's lived experience. At what point can you guide, and at what point may you be overstepping your boundaries? Important rules when understanding critical mentoring are: it all starts with the ears. When mentees speak about their lived experience, you as a mentor have the time to listen and process information for the purpose of understanding. For example, if the mentee tells you about a personal situation they experience, don't deny their truth and what they've went through. Use it as a way to process information from their viewpoint. Don't make the situation a way to insert or impose your personal beliefs upon them. That leads to the next point. Check your self-bias. We as humans often feel that what we believe is right. But that can be a selfish and destructive mindset when mentoring. Look at your own beliefs and identify potential bias that may cloud your ability to properly listen to what your mentee has to say. For example, if your mentee follow different religions or spiritualities, don't discredit their beliefs because they are not the same as yours. Learning equals trust. Critical mentoring is about learning from your mentee. The better understanding you have of them will lead you to a healthier relationship. If you don't take the time to learn, the mentee won't be transparent. When learning, acknowledge. Acknowledge the experience of the mentee, from the vulnerabilities of the mentee to the culture of the belief system. Let them know that you are there to listen. You may not understand everything that your mentee speaks about. For example, they may reference their cultural background and you might not know much or anything about it. This is where research comes in. Getting to know what factors play a part in the mentee's environment is important. Being able to put yourself in their shoes and show empathy towards their situation bridges the potential gaps of misunderstanding. It's not about you. Don't overshare on your part. Remember that it's ultimately about the mentee. If they say they're feeling stress, acknowledge that you have felt stress at times and let them know how you overcame it. Be careful that you don't overshare your experience and make it about yourself. Another important rule that is, guiding is the key word. Remember as a mentor that it's not your job to change the situation of the little. It's your job to guide the little to the appropriate resources available. Resources such as games and mental health activities that can be found in the Big Brother, Big Sister Resource Bank. The Resource Bank is a good place for different types of mental health activities. Lastly, understanding when intervention is needed. Having conversation with the mentee or their parents is important if there is a way for you to guide them in a direction of reliable community resources. To recap, important general rules of critical mentoring are: listen, check your self-bias, learning equals trust, acknowledge their truth, research, don't overshare, guidance, and intervention. All those rules take us directly into critical mentoring when it involves a mentee who is a part of a vulnerable group. Whether it be their socioeconomic background, culture, religion, or race. These things that define people can cause misunderstanding. Now, we'll take a look at how those rules previously talked about can be applied to solve misunderstandings. For example, race is something that can shape a lived experience that involves trauma due to racism. If you don't take the time to learn what the person may go through because of their race, you may miss out on something that largely defines their life. For example, if the mentee is Indigenous or a person of color and have concerns about how they were treated by their community members, you have the opportunity to research on how those groups have been treated by members historically and present day. Looking at critical race theory, which will be covered in another episode, take what views on race that you may have and check your bias. Imagine what views you may have of someone based on their race. What do you associate the color of their skin in place of origin with? It is often negative, positive, or neutral. The same principles apply to socioeconomic background of your mentee, which may be different than yours. What challenges could they be facing by being of a lower socioeconomic class? Listen to what your mentee has to say about the physical elements of their environment and the challenges that come with it. This will give you a good opportunity to guide them to resources that can help them in physical or material ways. If your mentee is suffering from malnourishment or food insecurity, this is where the process of interventions come in. Direct them to the food bank that can help them obtain the goods they need, or contact the BBBS case manager so they can help guide the next steps for the mentee. Pay attention to the physical environment of the mentee and understand what may be normal to them may not be normal to you. Listen to the details of what the environment around them is like when it comes to things like air quality, access to clean drinking water, and cleanliness of the living space. If your mentee lives in a home with crumbling infrastructure or insect infestation, acknowledge their living arrangement has a large impact on their life. Or contact your BBBS case manager so they can help guide the next steps. Is there crime around the area? Does the area have parks or facilities for recreation? Does the lack of safe recreational space hinder them from getting the required amount of daily exercise? Understand the situation the best way you can so you can be a guide and a support for your mentee. Make sure that at no point do you attempt to take on a savior role. When it comes to critical mentoring, it's about how to best support your mentee with the resources that you can provide. The ultimate goal is to understand by listening, learning, and guiding.